What if I told you that you actually have plenty of time in your day to do everything that you need to? Hi, I'm Luis, and I graduated a 2-year master's degree in 11 months while working full-time in New York City. In that time, I was consistent at the gym, I released music on Spotify, and I actually went on trips with my family. And it's time for me to show you how my brain works around time management so that you can apply it to your own life. You know why you don't have enough time? Say you need to finish a task, and this specific task is one of those that you need to really focus. Like, you need to dive in and get in the zone to finish it. You sit down, you put your phone to the right, and as someone productive, you immediately start working because you need to get this thing done. You sit down, you put your phone to your right, and then you open up your computer, and as someone who's productive, you immediately start working. And in a span of 10 seconds, you've already made plenty of mistakes. The first thing was leaving your phone next to you. Your phone is really good at getting your attention, and if it is within arm's reach, you're going to check it real quick. And this real quick is going to become a lot longer than real quick. The second thing is that you started working without actually having a plan. How many sessions of work are you going to have? How long are those sessions going to be? And most important, what is the ending time? What time do you stop working on this thing? The third thing is that you didn't put your phone on airplane or silent mode. Okay, so what should you do instead? You see, one of the biggest issues that most of us have but refuse to admit is that we lack the ability to focus. Most of us are not really trained to sit down and do focused work. And this is one of the biggest reasons a lot of us are failing to achieve our main goals. During my master's, it was super common to only have 1 to 2 hour blocks to get my assignments done. And when you can't waste time, you figure out a way to cut off distractions. And in the scenario that I first gave you, that environment was properly set up to distract you. So how do you fix that? Let's backtrack a little. So 1, when you're sitting down to do your work, the first thing you actually want to do is get your phone, throw it in the bed if it's far from you, put it in the kitchen, I don't care, put it in the drawer. It needs to be out of your reach. The idea is that you want to increase the barriers that you have to face to actually grab your phone. That way you're gonna think twice before trying to grab it. By the way, if this is helping you open your eyes to the mistakes you're making, hit that subscribe button. And this leads to my second point, that before you actually put your phone in the drawer or anywhere else, you actually need to cut off the distractions. So you need to put it on silent mode or airplane mode. And you might be like, oh, but what about emergencies? What if the emergencies show up? Are you going to do a better job than 911? Like, legitimately. Your goal is to prevent people from distracting you. Now, you might want to say, hey, I really want my family to be able to get a hold of me if needed. Well, then you can first talk to them. It's like, hey, by the way, between 1 and 4 p.m., I am going to be focused on this thing. Please do not get a hold of me unless you actually need me. And then the next thing you can do is put them on the favorites list, because that way they can bypass the do not disturb and so on. Give it a try, give it a go. It's actually pretty useful. And everything else needs to be silent. 0 notifications from anything. And now comes the moment that you're finally ready to sit down and do work. What do? Immediately start? No. You need a plan, otherwise it's aimless. Otherwise, you're a chicken running around with its head on fire. So what do? Instead, you're gonna determine how long you're gonna be at your desk for. Say it's gonna be 2 hours, okay? You're gonna divide that into 30-minute periods. And in each period, you're going to be full focus, okay? Now, once that 30-minute period is done, you're gonna give yourself a little break, be it 5 minutes. You kind of don't want to go over 5 minutes. And now for each of those sessions, you're going to determine what you're going to accomplish. So for session 1, I'm going to do A, session 2, I'm going to do B, session 3, I'm going to do C, and so on. You want to have a plan for the sessions too. Okay, but why does this actually work? There's this thing called Parkinson's Law, which says that work expands to fill the amount of time you allocate to it. In other words, if you give yourself those 2 hours to get that thing done, you can get that thing done. This is why it's so important for you to set up that deadline for you to stop working. And this is how, in 3 steps, you start to use your time a lot better. So the key here is that you can't say you don't have enough time if you're not using the time you do have to its full. And don't forget that you're not a machine and that your energy is limited. If you learned something from this video, hit the subscribe button to learn more about intentional time management and how to get 20 hours back per month so that you can do things you actually enjoy.